Yo, bro, just my first guest on my steamboat session. So anyway, I want to ask you about Lentor because I know you work with a lot of orange tea agents, myself included. You
Yes.
closed most recently the Lentor Mansion, the hottest project, 75% sold on day one.
Correct.
So understand you have been involved in Lentor since Lentor Modern, the first property.
Yes, that was the first development that started in Lentor area. And,
Yeah,
and until now, I think Mansion is the fifth one. Yes.
big one. How do you think sentiments towards the Lentor area has changed from the first project until now?
So initially when Lentor Modern started, I think generally the buyers are looking it as a new area where the amenities are not there.
Okay.
Yeah. So as time goes by, having this Thomson East Coast line bringing in the transport line, and then also the amenities from Lentor Modern Mall, I think people are more receptive towards this area.
Oh yeah, the Thomson East Coast line just got completed recently and operational, right?
Yes.
Do you remember when was that?
It is running already. I think since Lentor Modern, I think the station is already up and running.
Okay,
That
yeah.
was in end of 2022.
End of 2022.
Yes.
I recall because that time I was also involved in Lentor Mansion. There was a huge effort.
Correct.
Because as the very first, it's integrated development. Usually, it doesn't start with an integrated development. Integrated development usually comes later on.
Correct.
For the Lentor area, very unique Lentor Mansion. Lentor Modern was the first to actually come up.
Yeah, typically for an integrated development, it will always be the last plot within the whole area to be introduced in. And then that's the reason why a lot of times you realize that integrated development don't make a lot of profit, because being the last, and then with their added premium on it, it tend to be a lot higher than the market. But interestingly, if you see how Lentor Modern was introduced by being the first mover advantage, and then the price actually has caught up to the integrated development now.
Oh, okay. So Lentor Modern came out, it was actually the highest price, and after that the prices actually changed. Can you share a bit, because I know you involved in almost all the projects.
Correct.
How was the trend of the prices?
So after Lentor Modern, we have Lentor Hill Residences. Okay, that time was maybe about 5 to 10% lower, but eventually through the sales, which now we are at about 70 to 80% sold.
For Lentor Hill Residences.
Yes. So the price has actually caught up already.
Wow. Okay.
And then the next plot would be Hillock Green, then subsequently Lentoria, and then now we have the Lentor Mansion.
Okay. So the better selling ones, I mean, on paper would probably be, as you said, Lentor Modern. I think maybe about 90% sold, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Lentor Modern, Lentor Hill Residences, and the latest Lentor Mansion.
Correct. Lentor Mansion, we are about 78%.
How about for Hillock?
Hillock is doing pretty okay. We are looking at close to 40% sold as of now.
Come bro, at one of these.
Thanks.
40% sold.
Yep.
That's quite interesting, because I heard that Hillock at the start wasn't that well received.
With 100 units sold on the launch day, I think it's quite a good achievement.
Out of how many units for Hillock?
Out of 474.
Ah, that's not too bad, about 20 over percent. I think Lentoria then was the one that probably didn't.
They sold 50 units.
Okay, but they are also even smaller development.
Yes, it's a 267 unit development.
It seems like Lentor Modern, Lentor Hill Residences, and Lentoria have over 70% sales.
Yes.
Okay, so it seems at least from my perspective, because I don't focus on the Lentor area, it seems that Hillock Green and Lentoria, the response seems a little bit more lukewarm. Do you have any comment on that?
Hillock Green, we are looking at about 190 units sold as of now. I think it is still very well received because of its layout and the inspiration. So that one, I think it will continue to do well because of this price point. And also importantly is the unit count is very healthy. The total number of units, 474, just about right, where you have enough units to share your maintenance, and at the same time, there's enough transaction eventually to boost the price.
Okay.
But at Lentoria, I think being the smallest development in the whole area, less than 300, I think that is one concern that buyers will have as well. And then it is the probably the furthest away from the MRT as of now.
As of now, okay. So personally, the buyer that I brought, they were looking at the CHIJ Senics. Yeah. So how big of a school factor would you say the school plays for the area? Anyway, for those who are unaware, I've actually spoken to Seng Wee before about schools, where he's an expert on it. Right? If you'd like to check out that video with him as well, I have it in the link above if you want to check it out.
Yeah. So school factor is a very big play in today's new launch. Yeah. So if you roll back the time and look at the Amor residences.
AMO. Yeah, I remember Aitong, 1 km to Aitong and Senics. In fact, my clients were looking at sub-sale there.
Correct.
Usually.
And then after that, you look at Lentor Modern. If not for the school factor, Lentor Modern will probably be another sell-out development.
Because Lentor Modern is not within 1 km, right?
Exactly, it's not within. Okay. It is very, very close, but not within. So it's between the 1 and 2 kilometers. And then Lentor Hill residences, now that you brought in the school factor, right? You realize that those units that are within 1 kilometer of the CSIJ Stanic girls, they are mostly taken up on the day of launch. Yeah.
So it's definitely a very big factor.
Yes. So school is a big factor for new launches when parents are actually going to buy a home near school to get advantage to get into the school.
So what about earlier you mentioned Lentor Modern and Lentor Hill residences. How about the recent Lentor Mansion, Hillock Green and Lentoria with respect to the school?
So in Lentor area, what we are looking at for school, within 1 kilometer to Scenic, we have Lentoria, Lentor Mansion, and partially some of the units in Lentor Hill residences. So these are those that's within the school.
So far, do you see any difference in buyer profiles for each of these developments? And continuing on that, so are there certain type of buyer profiles who prefer a certain development over another?
I would think that for the school factor, we are looking at more for own stay.
Okay.
And then for Lentor Modern, we get a good mix of investor.
Because integrated.
Yes.
I see. So Lentor Modern, good mix of investor. But even the other projects, do you see people coming in for investment as well?
Yes.
Then for the smaller layouts?
No, not exactly the smaller layout. So Hillock Green was a very good launch. It is right across Lentor Modern, where the MRT and the mall is. So this development, we do see a lot of buyers who are looking at investing it.
Okay. So Hillock Green is not within 1 km to Scenic, but it's also the closest existing one to the MRT station.
Yes. So it's the closest development to the MRT station.
Okay.
And then their units are very efficiently designed.
Okay.
So we have 4 bedroom at about 1,184 square feet. So that's a very, very good size 4 bedroom.
For Hillock Green?
Yes.
1,184?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I think I recall now because I was there for the launch. I think you helped me present.
Yeah. So if you need a 4 bedroom efficient size, then yes, you can find something over there.
Okay, understand. But I also heard that Lentor Mansion was the first project that is under the new URA harmonization, right? So there were some changes in how the developer plan and their layouts, right? So what impacts do you see that it had on the market? And if you can maybe just briefly share what changes you see in the layouts for Lentor Mansion versus the others.
So you can actually find something like a 2-bedder, 2-bed, 1 bath at 527 square feet. Never in our experience through new launches, you expect a 2-bedroom in that size, because typically for 1+ study, you are looking at about 517 square feet thereabout. So the developer actually craft out something at 527 square feet and a 2-bedroom. So it's a very, very good size 2-bedroom for an entry.
Okay.
And then it was very, very well received on the day of launch. Fully sold all the 2-bedroom units.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Fully sold all the 2-bedroom units.
Correct.
What's the mix between owner occupiers and investors?
I would think that a lot will be investors for the 2 bedrooms. because the quantum is very friendly. At about 1.3 million, you can get a 2-bedroom.
Okay. So in terms of people who are buying it for investment, right? In future, are there any concerns of oversupply? I think some people are talking about that. All the projects coming up at Lentor area. Wow, bro.
Yeah, it's very
Maybe
hot.
Steamboat is not the best best setting for you.
Steamboat is definitely not the best setting. So back to the topic. We have about 3,000 units there in the Lentor area.
So far, including those that have not launched.
So far. So if you add in the next plot that's to be launched, then we are looking at about 3,400 units.
Okay. What is the next plot?
Just beside Hillock Green.
Okay. Is it Lentor Central?
Yes.
Okay.
So with that, you are looking at about 3,400 units.
Okay.
Is it a very big number? I would think that it is something that the market is able to digest, because in this area we are just at Ang Mo Kio. So between Ang Mo Kio BTO and Yishun BTO, we are already seeing the price closing up towards the BTO, closing up towards the private already.
Okay.
So this will be our market, our buyer's market eventually. And then if you want to look at Treasure at Tampines, 2,000 plus units there, market is still able to digest this number. So I think that Lentor area with about 3,000 odd units, not difficult to be digested into the market.
True. Furthermore, that area didn't have a lot of new launches recently, and it really only started from Lentor Modern, or should I say Amor, and it kicked off the transformation of the area along with the MRT line.
Yeah, and very interestingly, just now we were talking about the buyer's profile, right?
Yes, I think that's quite
investor,
important. Yes,
buyer, right? There is a big pool of buyer who actually are the children of those who are staying in Lentor area, Teachers Estate, Lentor Estate. So we do get a lot of buyers who are staying in the area because they literally watch this place transform from the original forest into the now township.
True.
So they have the first-hand experience of this place, and they want to be part of this Lentor township development.
Okay. Interesting. So if I'm looking at let's say I have a buyer, or if any of you are buyers out there, and I'm looking for I have a budget of about low 2 million, right? And I'm looking to invest in the area for own stay, but of course when I buy property for own stay, I hope next time when I sell I earn a profit, right? Is there anyone that you particularly recommend now of those in Lentor?
I think go where your budget suits you lah.
Okay, so about low 2 million for 3-bedder? Low
2 million 3-bedder, very comfortably you can find any projects there. So far, except for Lentor Modern, I think you don't have much units there. The rest you still be able to get some good units as a choice.
So it really depends on what I like as a buyer.
If you want something that is convenient, near the station, then go ahead with Hillock Green, because that is just across the MRT station.
Do you think the school factor would affect a lot next time when I resell?
So if you are looking at rental for 3-bedroom, and where your tenant pool will come from, probably I would say your tenant pool come from the MRT.
Okay.
Right, because it's really that convenient. So across the road, if they were to rent a 3-bedroom in the CCR near their workplace, it's probably going to cost them 7,000 to 8,000. Just moving out over to their side, maybe about 5,000 thereabout. So that could be your tenant pool, and then it's going to be much easier to rent because Thomson East Coast Line is very established, and then it's just across the station. So that is one you can consider. Then the other one, if you're looking at school factor, then we have your Lentoria, we have Lentor Mansion, and we have the Lentor Hill residences to consider as well. So these three, then you will see whether you prefer a bigger development or a more private development where you have lesser unit count.
So it would depend on the buyer's own preferences, you're saying, and all of them has their own exit potential.
Correct. So over the Lentor area, every developer is able to come up with their own unique concept for the development, so which can be really felt from the inspiration of the architect. Yeah. So it is really very much what you like, whether you can resonate with the inspiration that's behind it.
So Lentor Modern is like if you really want to be above MRT station, Hillock Green if you want a bit more exclusivity, but still very close to MRT station. Lentor Hill Residences, they have a brown, white concept,
Family oriented.
family-oriented pool facilities.
Yep.
Lentor Mansion for the new layouts after the harmonization.
Yes.
And Lentoria, maybe if you want a more boutique, privacy,
Correct.
not so crowded kind of concept.
Some of the days where you don't want to say hi to neighbors. Yeah. So
True.
could be one development that you can consider.
True. So I guess they all do have their pros and cons.
Yep.
When do you think the next launch will be coming up?
Probably third quarter of this year.
Third quarter of this year. So I guess you're going to be involved as well?
Yes, I'll be involved.
Then we will look forward to see the results of that launch.
Sure.
All right. Thank you very much, Seng Wee. Let's carry on eating. Sweet.